the YouTube land. Barb here from barbstamps.com, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Let's just take a look-see here and see if anyone is out there. I think I'm like maybe 30 seconds early. Teeny tiny little bit. So if you guys are out there, please say hello. I never quite know if this actually is working or not until, I start seeing some comments come by. And then, of course, I try to get my iPad to work, but it's super old, and so it takes forever to get the signal from my phone 12 inches behind me to my iPad. So, oh, yay, we have Bonnie and Janet, Nicole and Sandra, Myra, all of you guys. Yay, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Just got to finish getting this iPad set up. I wish I could get it set up right away, but since I can't use a predetermined link anymore, thank you, YouTube, this is the way it has to be, unfortunately. It's kind of a pain, in a sense. On one hand, it's not so bad. On the other hand, it's kind of a pain. So, what are you going to do? Right? There's nothing else you can do. It's technology, and it's annoying for everyone, and we just have to deal with it. All right. So, hopefully you guys aren't having any crappy weather tonight, today, this afternoon, whatever. Why is that on there? Aha, I see the chat on my iPad now. Yay! Okay, so that works out. That's working good. What? Oh, there's something on here that says goal. What does that mean? Start a goal. I'm not really sure what that means. Oh, it has something to do with you guys giving me money. So, yeah, whatever, YouTube, not really sure. Okay, so yay, let's see, we've got some rain in Oklahoma. What else do we have? We've got Karen or Corinne is in Tucson. My brother lives in Tucson, just saying. Susan's here, Barbara's here, Northwest Montana checking in. Hello, Barbara. You have a fantastic name, by the way. Cheryl's here from Colorado. Lots of you guys are popping in. Yay! That makes me very happy. What do I have to share that's exciting? My son was here over the weekend a little bit. Him and my husband went snowmobiling on Saturday. They didn't go for very long because both of the snowmobiles started to run like complete crap. So they came home, and we are taking them into the mechanics tomorrow, which I don't know how I feel about this because the one, we had the engine rebuilt on it 3 years ago. And since the engine was rebuilt, and today, I mean, my husband's probably ridden it for maybe 10 hours. It was $6,000 to get that engine rebuilt. So I want to know what's wrong with that thing. So hopefully it's nothing that they didn't already fix, because of course, I mean, snowmobiles are so annoying. I really wish he would just get rid of them. Completely just get rid of them, because they're like money pit houses. You know what I mean? It's like you just keep throwing money into them, throwing, and they're always breaking down, constantly breaking down. So I'm not one who rides them, so you can see that's why I don't care. If it was our little Razor that we ride in the summertime, I would be like, yes, totally get that fixed. But it's not, so I don't care. I would just assume we get rid of them, but it's not up to me. So we'll find out, hopefully, maybe Monday or Tuesday or something like that of next week, just what the problem is. So, oh, okay. Well, I have some great things for you guys tonight. I am going to be using the Beautiful Butterflies bundle. A lot of you probably have that since we were doing our new product launch party with it. So a lot of you probably have that already. So maybe that will work out and you can find some fantastic projects to use your bundle with. I'm going to get a little bit more in depth into what all the different dies do in this particular class here than what we did on the launch party. So hopefully that will be helpful to all of you. I have a few tips and tricks to share with it. So I've had a lot of fun playing with it. I started playing with it, well, I mean, since the catalog or the launch party started, and off and on. And then yesterday I kind of really dove into it deep with most of the items that are in the stamp set and the die set. And I always have a goal. Whenever I do one of these little weekly classes for you guys, my goal is to use all the stamps and all the dies in a bundle. Or if I'm using the stamps and a punch, whatever. My goal is to use every one of them. I just think that's kind of cool for you guys to be able to see, you know, how each one could be used. Unfortunately, that doesn't always work out. And I thought that I had finally done it today. And I was super excited. And then it dawned on me there were 2 dies that I didn't use. So, oops. But I try really hard. So hopefully that is helpful to some of you who watch these live videos, that hopefully that will help you get a little bit more love for the things that you might already have. Anyways, my son was here. Him and my husband went snowmobiling Saturday. And then one of his friends was turning 21. It was her birthday on Saturday. So him and his friends rented a little Airbnb that was like 2 blocks from downtown. Now, Sheridan, Wyoming is a teeny tiny little town. And so we probably have, I don't know, well, there's probably a lot more bars than I know of because I've only been in one and I've lived here for over 20 years. Not really a bar hopper. So they rented an Airbnb that was about 2 blocks from downtown, which is where most of the bars are, so that they could go to the bars and then walk home. So I thought that was very smart of them. And then they didn't have to wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go pick them up when the bars closed. Because I don't like doing that because I don't see in the dark very well and it's cold. So I was pretty happy about that. That was a girl, one of his friends that's a girl, not his girlfriend, friend that's a girl. So there was him and his friend and then the girl and her friend. So they're all friends. They've been friends since junior high and high school. None of them have ever dated. In fact, one of the gals is dating a friend of his, so that wouldn't work out very well. But anyway, so the 4 of them went out and apparently just had a fantastic time. So we got the doggy I got him during the day while they were gone snowmobiling, and then we had him overnight until Sunday morning. And that dog, whew, energy. The dog has so much energy. There's no downtime when that dog is here. And that's probably my fault because when he first started bringing him over here, I was just so excited to play with him all the time. And so I never gave him any downtime. And so now when he's here, you know what, you guys, I think I've always been backwards. My phone does not, my phone doesn't do the, well, actually, no, I don't think I am backwards because my cabinet is always right there. It always has been right there. It's right next to me. And my little hallway is right back there. So I don't think I am backwards. Maybe it's because I have a different kind of a phone. I have no idea. I've got my own problems with YouTube. So yeah, I wish that was my only problem is that I was backwards. I don't know if I am backwards or not. Does this show up the right direction? Yeah. Does this show up the right direction? Does that show up the right direction? I don't know. I thought that I was always backwards when I was doing these lives. But I know some people have been struggling being that their cameras are mirrored. And so, yeah, definitely. And I think mine's always been like that. Let's see. Yep, mine's always been like that. I don't have any way to fix that. My phone is older and it doesn't have any way to fix that. So yeah, mine's always been like that. Except when I do flip my camera down to my desk, it's always the proper orientation. So this is the way you've always seen me. It just is what it is. So yeah. What else do we have to say? I don't think that there's not really, like I said, my kids are gone. My husband works. I work. It's just very boring around here, which I should knock on wood because that's probably really a good thing. I mean, there could be a lot of things that could be going on that aren't just, you know, the mundane, just go through the motions. And so I should be happy that it's very boring. So I am very happy that it's boring. And I hope it continues to be boring for many, 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 many years to come. There you go. All right. I think I'm going to flip the camera because, like I said, I really don't have anything to talk about. There's nothing going on here that's of interest to anyone. Yeah, there's no interest in anyone. I dyed my hair, big whoop. I need a haircut, another big whoop. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm going to flip the camera and we are going to talk about stuff that is exciting, right, Patricia? It's a blessing to be boring. Yes. So while I wish that I had some fun stuff to tell you guys, I don't. So it just is what it is. Let me see if I can get my camera to flip. Now this should be the proper orientation. It always has been. So I don't foresee any issues there. I've got to get my hair clip out because my hair hangs in my face and it drives me crazy. Get my glasses on so I can see and move my tripod out of the way. Okay, so these, have I found a new hairstylist? No, I still have not. It's been a year since I had my hair cut. And I really need to get it trimmed because it's getting to it needs to be trimmed. You know what I mean? So I need to just go somewhere and say, hey, can you trim my hair? And just hope that they don't do a crappy job, but whatever. These are the cards that I did a couple weeks ago. So I am in the process of cutting for these so that these kits can go out of here tomorrow. So if you ordered with me in the last couple weeks, $50 or more, you are going to be getting a card kit from me to create these cards, providing that you use the, what do you call that thing? The host code. Now, for many of you probably are already aware of this, but the host code and the Stampin' Rewards program is all going to be changing in a few months. I don't know exactly when, a few months. And so we won't be using host codes anymore. All the rewards will be gone to the customers rather than, to the demonstrators, and then we give you a free gift for your order. So a lot of things are going to change, but as of right now, I'm still doing the host code. I'm still going to do my weekly classes, at least for a few more weeks. And then we're going to sort of see what happens. But so I did add a class to my schedule for the month of January, and it is the Mixed Media Florals class. It's awesome. Do I have my cards close here that I can share them with you? I think so. Yep. Here are the 4 cards that I designed for the class. Now, if you take this class, you make 2 of every design. So you make 8 cards total. There's envelopes in the kit. There's the Mixed Media Florals Designer Series paper, the low profile dots, about 1.5 yards, yardish, whatever, of 3 different ribbons. Shipping is included, the Precut Cardstock, and then of course the PDF. In fact, most of my kits have already gone out. So Bonnie, you should be receiving that pretty soon. And I will be emailing you the PDF. I just got that done last night. So yeah, so if you just want the PDF for the cards, it includes a video for each project. It includes the dimensions of each piece and then some brief written instructions about how to make the card. So I do have a PDF available for $20, or if you want the supply kit with the cardstock and everything, it's $45. There is a link in the description of the video. All right, we've talked about this, and I'm going to keep talking about it until celebration's over. But right now, during celebration, if you have not already joined Stampin' Up, you're thinking about it, you're on the fence, you should jump over the fence and come and join with me, because there's no reason why you should be paying full price for your Stampin' Up products when you can get them at a minimum 20% discount. And when you do join during celebration, you can choose 2 different join options. Everybody gets $125 worth of product for $99. And then you can choose whether you want to add on a stamp set and 2 sets of Stampin' Right markers, or you can add an additional $30, whatever one you want to do. Now, my team, they're all over the country. You don't have to be local to me to be on my team. We have a team Facebook group. We have monthly team meetings. We have team swaps. We do training every week. And the training could be, how to take a picture and put a watermark on it. A lot of people like to know how to do that. The training could be how to navigate the Stampin' Up website. The training could be how do I use my Stampin' Blends markers. The training could be how do I get new customers. Just all kinds of things that go on in the training. And that's for everybody who's on my team. I do share lots of my tutorials are shared with my team, because everybody who's on my team that places their first order gets a basic membership to Stamp Happy Academy, where a lot of our classes are housed. So you get all those for free too. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to help you, and I would love to welcome you to my team right now. All right, I have a new host code starting out for, I don't know, the next few weeks. It's S2QVRDMT. If you place an order in my online store that's less than $150 retail, please use the host code. If it's over 50, you will get the Precut Cardstock Kit for today's projects. If it's over 75, you will get that plus, what am I using? Oh, I'm using the iridescent pearls on my projects today, so you will get a package of these little guys. All right. Also, if you order today or tomorrow, you will get the Friends of the Ocean PDF. That is my January gift to anybody who orders any amount with me. I will email that to you. If your order is $50 or more, you will get this tutorial also, which is kind of a collection of items that were released in January. If you order in February, you're going to get another mixed media florals PDF. So if you do end up having this bundle and you do buy my class kit, you're going to get a bunch more ideas with this. This has full color photo, dimensions of the pieces of cardstock, a supply list, as well as written directions. So you could get even more ideas with your mixed media florals. That's for February. And also for February, I do have a tutorial using the Wildflower Birthday suite of products, and you will get that tutorial also. Now, don't forget that I do have my Wildflower Birthday. Oh, I don't have a thing for that. I thought I did. Anyway, the Wildflower Birthday retreat is coming up the end of February. Actually, what is it? Yeah, the 28th, 29th. No. 27th, 28th, and 1st of March. I'm like, there's no 29th this time around. I'm losing my mind. And so I am taking registrations for that. I think I'm over halfway sold out. So I have a feeling that it is going to sell out, and I only have a certain number that I can do because of some items that we purchased that we cannot get anymore. And so if you want in on the Wildflower Birthday retreat, please register early so that you can be sure that you get in. I'd hate for you not to get in. We do have an online only version that you can get if you can't get the swag box. And anybody who is a Stamp Happy Academy member or a member of my team, there are discounts available for both of you groups of people. My VIP Facebook group, if any of you have purchased anything from me, from my online store, a class PDF, a class kit, retired items off my blog, anything, you are eligible to join my VIP group. And I do have a link in the description of this video. You just have to answer a question to get in. If you don't answer the question, I won't let you in. That's just pretty simple. There's a question there. It's for a reason. Answer the question and you can get in. That way is how I can weed out like scammers that can sometimes, hack your profiles or copy your profiles. So I'll know it's you when you answer the question. Okay. So yeah, I'm giving away prizes tomorrow. I give away prizes every month just for commenting on the things that I post in there, and I share a lot of inspiration in there. I'm going to be loading up my retired items section on my blog here, hopefully over the weekend. So there'll be a lot of stuff there for you to check out, including mystery boxes. And I have kind of revamped the mystery box. There's two different types of mystery boxes. One of them is $99 and includes $250 retail price of merchandise. The other one is a $55 box that includes $100 of merchandise. So check those out. Stamp Happy Academy, I talked a little bit about that earlier. The PDF for today's class will be going on to Stamp Happy Academy. My mixed media class will not, as that is a personal thing that I do myself. So that will not be going on to Stamp Happy Academy. So the only way to get that is to either purchase the kit from me or to purchase the PDF. But today's class will definitely go on there. And as usual, I have adhesive kits with all these fun little adhesives in there that come in a cute little rainbow bag. All righty. I guess I should check the comments. Does anybody have any questions? I hope not. I always forget to look at that. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, Bonnie said SHA is awesome. She's not wrong. All right, so I said we were going to be using the Beautiful Butterflies. The Beautiful Butterflies is a stamp set, a set of dies, and then a hybrid embossing folder. That is what the bundle is. And like I said, I've been having a really good time with this stuff, and there's a lot of different stamps, everything. So I was able to end up using every one of the stamps, yay me. And then I was able to use all of the dies except the die that cuts out this butterfly and this butterfly. Now you could easily stamp them and cut them out for what we're doing with them, but I didn't in this particular case. So, but I did use the folder as well. So I used a lot of this stuff. So hopefully you'll be excited about this when you see what I've gotten done here. All right, so I'm going to be using the iridescent pearls, like I said. So this will be your gift with purchase. If you order $75 or more in my store, you'll get the kit plus the pearls. And then here's our first card. So let me get this pulled out here. Oh, something happened. I'm going to have to restructure this. Okay, anyway. All right, what do we got here? We have Melon Mambo is our card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5. I've got ink under my nails. Good Lord, I'm just a mess today. The Melon Mumble card base. Then I have a layer of black that is 4 by 5 1/4. And you can see I tried to put my dies on there with some Post-it tape, but having them in my bag, they got all discombobulated. But we're going to fix that. This will be this in just a minute. Then I have a layer of white for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. A piece of Granny Apple Green. This is a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I wonder if I can get that out of my nail, that ink. That's bugging me. That just looks gross. Anyway, then you're going to be getting some designer series paper. This is from the Toadstool Gardens. This is a free item for celebration. I'm sure some of you have this. If you don't, you will be getting the pieces in your kit. This piece here is 3 3/4 by 5. And then you're going to get the bottom piece of that too, because you're going to need to die cut a couple of butterflies out of that. You're also going to get this 1/2 by 4 piece of designer series paper. And you're going to get a scrap to cut this label out of the die set. All right, so what we have here is, where are those other 2 butterflies? Oh, they're in this container. Okay, so here's your layer of black. This is what it's going to look like when you get done doing what we're doing here. So I had the tape on here to kind of keep these butterflies in place, because what I want to do is I want to run this plain piece of black cardstock through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with these 3 dies. Okay, we have the large detailed butterfly, and how I kind of lined this up was it's kind of straight over here on this edge. You can kind of see how that's kind of straight, and then it's kind of, there's a little bit of edge here. It's a little bit high, so there's 3/4 of an inch there where there's a lot more space down here, and then these little guys just can kind of go wherever you want them to go. All right, so then you're going to run that through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and what you're going to end up with is a piece that has holes in it, just like this. And then you're going to end up with your detailed butterflies, which I have right here. All right, so that's what you would end up having. So then you're going to take this piece that now has 3 holes in it, and you're going to put it into your folder. You're going to try to line this up as best you can. It's not crucial, but what you're kind of looking for, I need something white underneath this so that you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So what you want to do is you want to take your die cut piece, and you're kind of lining it up with the butterfly that's in there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but what you're kind of looking for is that you get the antennas where the antennas would normally go, and then the little end of the body where the end of the body would normally go. So something along these lines is kind of what you want to do. You want to make sure that you don't have any of it sticking out of the folder. So if you have to do a little bit of manipulating, that's totally fine. Then you're just going to run it through. We're not using the die in this case. We're just using the folder. You're going to run that through. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get this, and you can see that I have my antenna. At least I hope you can see that. Is the camera picking that up? Yes. I have my antenna kind of right in the middle of this body where the antenna would go, and then the base of the body is right here. These little guys, they don't line up with anything, so just don't pay any attention to them, okay? So that's what you're going to have then, is this piece right here. So let me move those things out of the way, get this black out of here because we don't need it either. All right, so this is what we have to work with so far. Also, out of your little strip of designer series paper, you're going to take those 2 small dies once again, and you're going to crop them out of this little piece right here. Okay, so then you'll end up with these 2 little pieces like that. They'll just be fun and colorful. Okay, you're also going to either get some glimmer paper, or you're going to get bodies already die cut. I haven't quite figured out how I want to do this. If it's just going to be easier for me to chop up the paper into little pieces and die cut the bodies for you, or just to give you little chunks that you can die cut the bodies yourself. But the die set does come with 2 small bodies and 1 big body. And so I have brought in the pastel ombre glimmer paper. This was an online exclusive release on January 7th to customers. And it is just what it says. It is ombre pastel paper. So you can see the gradation there with the colors. This is the lemon lime twist. Then we have the kind of petal pink that goes into the fresh freesia. And this is the pattern that we're going to use for the bodies, the color that we're using for the bodies. And then we have this one here. I don't know if this is Coastal Cabana or Summer Splash, but you can see it's a little darker over here, and then it goes light. And so this is some really fun, pretty paper. I haven't actually pulled it out and used it yet. So today is the first day, and like I said, I'm not using a ton of it, but I thought having these little colored glimmer bodies would be pretty fun for this particular project. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, this is in the online store. Like I said, it's not in any catalog. And the item code for it is 164851 if you are looking to be getting it out of the online store. Okay, so then that's where these bodies came from. So there you can see there are two different shades, depending on where you take the glimmer paper, what section of the glimmer paper you take it from. So I did the large body out of the kind of lighter paper, and then I did the two smaller bodies out of a little bit darker. All right, so you'll get some bodies or glimmer paper. So now really all we have to do is throw this thing together, and it's going to be pretty simple. What we want to do is we want to add our designer series paper to the back side of our piece that has holes cut in it. So I have found that the best way to do that is to just add the glue to the back side of your black layer. Okay, so just kind of go around where the holes are, and then of course sort of at the top. Now this piece of designer series paper isn't quite the same size as this, so you don't want to get your glue completely to the edges because it's not going to stay. And then what I like to do when I am using liquid glue and I'm doing something like this is I like to bring in a silicone mat, and that way, just in case glue tries to squirt its way through or something, I'm not going to allow it. Okay, so then I'm going to add my piece of paper. This doesn't have to be straight on there at all because it doesn't have any sort of a pattern that we need it to be straight. And then when we flip it over, that's what we're going to get. So then all we have to do is add our butterflies back in to the spaces that they came out of. And actually, I might need to use my silicone mat again, because I have discovered this fun little trick of when I use liquid glue on something that's very detailed like this, that a lot of times I get a little heavy-handed, as one does when they're using glue. Usually I'm pretty good, but I mean, I'm not perfect. And so I can get glue in places that I don't necessarily want it, or places that it's too thick. And so a lot of times what I will do is I will just tap it onto my silicone mat to get off some of that excess glue, and then I'm good. Okay, so then I'm just going to drop that right back into the space that it came out of. All right, and then we need to do that with the two other pieces as well. Now there's definitely a front side and a back side when you die cut something, and you can usually tell when you look at them what's the front and what's the back. The front is always usually very nice edges, crisp and clean, and then the back can be a little more kind of ratchety, a little more frayed, a little more icky looking. But if you can't decide, then just drop them in there and make sure you've got it going the right way. All right. And I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to add a little bit of glue. Got to get the glue to come out. There we go. To the back side of these guys. And you can do this with literally any designer series paper. You do not have to use this kind. If you don't have this and you're not getting a kit, you don't have to use this paper. You could do any paper. I just thought this would be a lot of fun just because of the design of the paper, how it's nice and bright, kind of groovy, if you will. So yeah, I just really like that. All right, so I'm going to add a little glue to this second piece. Again, if I think I have too much, I can just tap it onto my silicone mat. A lot of that glue will come off, and then I can stick it in, and hopefully I won't have any glue squishing out anywhere else. All right, so let's press that into place. This is what we have so far. We have the beautiful colors coming through. Now we can add our little bodies. And I'm just going to do the bodies. I'm not going to worry about the antenna. You can if you want, but I kind of like the idea of the antenna kind of free floating around there. And you can see now that I've actually added the antenna, it probably didn't matter if I put the antenna and the body in there. I just kind of thought that it would, but apparently it doesn't. So you just die cut it however you want. But I do like that the embossing did put a line. I think it did a little bit of a line around there. So maybe it's not such a bad idea. All right. let's get these two little bodies added to that. That was a skosh too much glue. And I really feel like this little purple body just really adds something to this whole card. It was cool before, but adding the bodies, I think, really jazzes it up a little bit. All right, so we'll add some more glue, and we'll get this little guy where he belongs. All right, so that's what we've got so far here. We're going to add this to our layer of Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to flip that over, throw some more glue here, and then we'll get this onto the Granny Apple Green. And you're not going to have a huge border here, but it's just enough to kind of let that color kind of come through, just to add a little bit of interest. Okay. There we go. Press that into place. That's what we have. Then we're going to take our label, and I'm going to use the Happy Birthday sentiment. And here that is. And we're going to use black ink. Where's my black? Here we go. This is my newfangled memento pad. This is one of our not old. I purchased a white craft pad through the Stampin' Up! Store, and it comes uninked with a refill. So the gist about this pad is you're supposed to add your own white ink to it, and then you have a white craft pad. But I liked the idea of having a foam pad for my memento, because the memento that I have is a hard linen pad, and I just really like the idea of having a soft foam pad for my memento ink. And so that's what I did. I just inked it up. Now be careful when you ink this up. You can over ink it, which I did. So definitely do a little bit at a time, you know, squirt some on there, kind of use the back of a spoon to press it in, add some more, press it in, add some more, press it in, maybe even wait overnight. When you think you have enough, wait overnight and see how much of it has soaked into the pad. You may need to re-ink it some more, but you don't want to get too much on there, because then you have too much on there. So I had to keep mine wrong side, stored the wrong side for a few days to get some of that ink to soak down into the pad so it wasn't on the surface. So don't do what I did. Learn from my mistake and do it a little bit at a time. Okay, so then we're going to take our die cut label here, and I'm going to end up adding it to the card, something like that. But I think I'm going to do it with dimensionals, not minis. I'm going to use regulars. Ooh, actually, no, I'm going to use black. Now that I'm looking at this, since I'm going to end up putting it onto a black card, a black dimensional is probably a good idea. All right, so I just kind of press my fingernail into that to kind of lift up that backing paper, and that works really well. All right, so I'm going to add this about right here. Okay, and then you're going to get a little snippet of the Fresh Freesia Celebration ribbon also, and we're going to add that to the card. And I'm going to use a glue dot here on the back of my knot. And then I'm just going to add my bow kind of here at the edge of what I have left where I didn't put my sentiment. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in my little iridescent pearls. Now, the thing that I love the most about these pearls, besides the fact that they're super cute, they're pretty small, they're very shiny, I love that they can be colored if you so desire to color them. So let's just try that. Where is my Fresh Freesia? Oh, it's over here. Looking for my Fresh Freesia Stampin' Blend. And it's in a different box because I'm using it on something else. Here we go. So let's just take a look-see here and see what that's going to look like if we color that. I think they actually work better if you use a darker color. So I'm not seeing, you can see a little bit of a difference with the Fresh Freesia, I think. Not a ton. So I guess I thought it was going to work out really well. It works really well when you use a darker color. So I guess I'm not even going to bother with doing it for the Fresh Freesia. I'm just going to use them as is. And I'm just going to add a few to the card kind of here and there just to add a little bit of interest, a little bit of fun. Maybe something like that, just so we have a little bit more color. And then I'm going to add this to my card with dimensionals. And then we're going to quickly look at the inside, and then we will be done with this card. And then we get to move on to the one that's really fun. All right, Come on, you. Get off there. There we go. Again, it's going to be a pretty slim border for the Melon Mambo and the Granny Apple Green, just enough to kind of give it a little bit of a pow. And then for the inside, I already stamped my sentiment. This is another one out of the stamp set. So we've now used 2 of our sentiments. So this one says time to celebrate. And of course, very apropos for a birthday card. And I'm going to add this little strip of designer series paper to the end here. And I'm going to just press that into place. Oops. Got a little crazy with that, didn't I? Started moving it where I didn't want it to move. All right, so now let me snip off the excess. I feel like this might have been crooked. That's why that's there. Unknown. All right, so then we're going to add this to the inside, and then we're going to finish it off with our little die cut colorful butterflies that we got out of that same paper that we have on the front. Okay. And I'm just going to add a little glue to these. I don't think I'm going to go too crazy with the glue. I think I'm just going to add it to the center, like where the body would go. And then we'll just sort of add, whoops, you stay where I put you, please. Excuse me. There we go. And then we'll just add those to the front. So here we have, or the inside. So here's the front. So fun, so colorful. I really need to do this with a bunch of different designer series papers. And you don't have to always use black either. You could use any color that you wanted that would go with your designer series paper to do this exact same card. And then we have the fun inside. So I hope you guys liked that. Here's another card. Since I wasn't able to use this die in my projects, I decided just to share a card that I had already made with it so you could see. It's just the image is stamped and then the die just cuts it out perfectly. And this was cut out of the Bloom Impressions designer series paper, and it makes a fun card like that. So hope you enjoyed that. Also wanted to throw in a little tidbit about the folder. Here is what you get when you die cut the butterfly using the die in the folder. You get this nice detail. You can actually use the folder both directions. What I mean is you can have a portrait style card or a landscape style card, and the folder will work both ways. So just in case you were wondering, yes, it does. All right, let's move on to our second card now. Get some of these things out of the way here. All right. Okay, so here is my second bag of goods. And in it, I need to move some of these things out of the way. In it, we have, oh, that's kind of a scrap. I have a thick card base. And I'll share with you how I did that. This is done. This is not. So it's a 5.5 by 8.5 thick white card base. You're also going to get a 4 by 5.25 inch layer of white, and we will talk about doing that. You're going to get a piece of Pretty Peacock. This is a 3.5 by 4.5. And then you're going to get a piece of this designer series paper. You can grab it. Where is it? Here it is. This is called Serene Love. And it is a recolored paper from a paper that we had a number of years ago. And these are the patterns. The front sides are these. Let me get them all out here for you. So you can see the colors are Old Olive, Lost Lagoon, and Night of Navy. And then the flip sides are all floral patterns. Okay. So that's really fun. So I've gone and used this pattern here, this Lost Lagoon kind of diamond pattern for the card today. And you will get that in your kit. If you order $50 and get the kit, you'll get this in your kit. You're also going to get a scrap of Pretty in Pink. No, Petal Pink. And you need to die cut this small label, okay, out of Petal Pink. All right, so first things first on this particular card. I like to fold it in half and then burnish it. Okay, so then when I open it up, I definitely have a serious folded score line. And I want that so that I can line up what I'm going to do with this. So on this die, this is what we're going to use. This is going to make the front of the card have like a butterfly opening, okay? So as you can see, on the very edges of this die are these little marks, these little lines. Is that going to pick that up? I think it is. Okay, there it is. There's a little line right here, and there's a little line on the other side as well. So there's two little indented lines. There are also, well, the indented line, there's a little thing here and here. I didn't have much luck with that. This is what I had luck with. So what I did with this is I put that little line, because you can see it goes right to the edge of the die. So I have that little line is right on my fold line. Okay. I've got it lined up on both sides, and then I'm just going to center my die from left to right. Now I highly recommend tacking this down with something. I like to use Post-it tape. And so that's what I recommend. Some people use Post-it notes. I just have really good luck with this Post-it tape. It doesn't leave much of a residue. If anything, sometimes it leaves a tiny bit of a residue, but you can easily get that off. It holds extremely well. And then you would run this through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. All right. And then this is what you get. So you have this piece cut out. Oh, well, normally you would end up with antenna. I already cut it off. So this is what it would look like. The front of your card would look like this. It would have this excess piece here. It would have your butterfly. And then what you need to do is take your scissors and then just snip off this little excess right to that little tick mark or that little edge. And you're going to do that on both sides, right up to the line. Okay. And now for my card, like I said, you would normally have this butterfly head and body. I don't want the butterfly head and body for this particular way that I'm going to make this card. So I'm just going to take my snips and I'm cutting that off. Okay. Then you're also going to need to take your layer of white, your scrap, not really a scrap because it's a nice full-size layer of white, and you're just going to put this die anywhere on here. It doesn't make any difference, and you're going to run it through. And this is what you're going to get. So then we have these two things. Okay. Get some of this other stuff out of the way so that we don't get confused. So this is what we have so far. So then on this piece here, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of make it a little smaller, and I'm just kind of cutting underneath. There's a little line that the die leaves at the top of your, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there's a little line. You want to go below that. So we're cutting off below that little line that the die leaves because we want this to be a little smaller. Okay. And again, I'm cutting off the head and I'm cutting off the body because for this particular card, I don't need them. I don't think. No, I don't. Okay. So we're getting rid of the body and the head. So this is what we have now. Then what you're going to do is you're going to set up your folder with your piece of Pretty Peacock. Now you always want to put your die on the side with the Stampin' Up! Logo. Okay. That's just a little tip. You're going to place your die in there and it will like pop into place. It will lock into place to where it doesn't move around anymore. Now, if you jostle it, it will, but I mean, it will like stick in place and you can tell that you've got it locked in. You're going to take this piece of cardstock. I like to flip my die or my folder over just to make sure that I'm getting the whole thing. I can see that my whole thing is in there. I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and then I'm going to end up with this beautifully detailed embossed Pretty Peacock butterfly. Okay. So that's how we use the folder. So this is what we have so far, these three things. And then we have our designer series paper, obviously. Then you're going to get a scrap of Lost Lagoon that I don't have with me at this moment. But you're going to get a little scrap of Lost Lagoon. It's not going to be very big. Where's my body, my die? Here we go. Here's our big body. And we are going to crop it out of this. So the scrap you're going to get is probably going to be a strip. Okay, something like this is what you're going to get. So that your body, you can cut that out. But if you want to fancy it up just a little bit, you can do this. You can tape a piece of packing tape and you can lay your scrap on your packing tape. Don't bend it like I just did. And then you can run your body through on your piece of cardstock with this piece of tape on it. then what happens is you get a shiny butterfly body. Can you guys tell how shiny that is? It almost looks like you dipped it in Versamark and embossed it with clear. Here's just for difference. You can see that this other body is just Lost Lagoon cardstock and it does not have the tape on it. You don't have to do the tape thing. It's totally up to you. I just thought it was kind of cool to have the body be a little bit shiny. There you go. The DSP Cheryl is a 4 by 5 1/4. Sorry about that. I didn't see your note. Okay, so you can do either way. If you don't want to put the tape on there, don't do it plain. If you do want to do the tape, do. Now the die does put little dots where these little holes are. You can get little dots on your pieces of paper. If you care, you can take the tip of your bone folder and kind of rub those dots out. And the same thing with the tape piece. If it bothers you, you can get rid of it. If it doesn't bother you, don't worry about it. All right, so I'm going to add this to my embossed butterfly. Come back here. And I'm going to use a little bit of glue to do that. And this time I think I will, yeah, this is my taped body. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of glue to the antenna because I do kind of want it to stick down on the whole thing. And now there is like spots where you can tell that this body and antenna go. So just line those up as best you can. And then we have this cool butterfly with his very shiny body, which is kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to put this other body away so that I don't mess it up. I can use it for something else. So now back to these pieces here, especially the front. We are going to do a little stamping on this, and we're going to bring in those pieces from the stamp set that are just wings. You might be wondering, what in the world are those for? This is what they're for. So I have them both here. There are 2 of them. They are different, but they are the same, right? Because butterfly wings are the same. So if you're looking at them, so the stamps are on the box, on the blocks. And in my mind, I can kind of see how this one sort of curves this way just ever so slightly. And then this one kind of curves this way ever so slightly. So that's how I'm going to put them onto my wings, okay? I'm going to have the curves ever so slightly, and that's how I'm going to stamp them. So I'm going to bring in some Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to start with the right-hand side. I'm going to ink up my stamp, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of put it in here so that the middle is kind of going up, and I'm going to get it fairly close to the edge. As I'm looking through here, it's maybe 1/4 of an inch from the edge, and I'm going to stamp that. Okay, and then I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to rotate this so that I'm on the diagonal, and I'm going to stamp this one on here as well. And I'm going to pull it out a little bit so that it's kind of towards the edge. And that's what we have so far. So then I'm going to bring the other stamp in. I'm going to ink that one up. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring it here. I'm going to get it close to the edge, and I'm going to stamp it. And then I'm going to rotate this around so I'm diagonal from that, and I'm going to do that again. And something like this. Okay, so that's what we have so far. So now we have a little bit of detail on that piece. Now there is this tiny little dotty image that I have seen people use to add some more accents around the edges of the butterfly wings, and I am going to do that, but I'm only going to do it at the top. I feel like what I have down here is plenty, but up here you can see that the wing doesn't completely cover that area. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit extra, and I put the piece of paper in there just in case my stamp went over the edge, which it did not. So that's good. Okay. And the reason I wanted to decorate that a little bit is because when I bring my butterfly in, it's not completely white and boring. It does have some interest around it that I feel like is going to help make it look pretty cool. So then, and that's why I cut the head and the tail off, because when I stick this on, the head and the tail are not in the right area and it looks really dumb. So if you just snip those pieces off, then it works out really, really well. All right, so I'm going to add this to the front. I'm going to add a little glue around the body here, and maybe a little bit out towards the wings, because I don't mind if it flaps a little bit, you know, like if it's not completely tacked down. I feel like that's going to be kind of cool, so I don't mind that. And I'm going to scooch it down just a little bit. In fact, if we open this up, that might make it easier for us to see what we need to do. We want to make sure that our wings are not past the fold line. And if you want to bring it down just a little bit so that you have some white, you certainly can. All right. So we are good with that. So then I'm going to bring my designer series paper in. I'm going to add this to the inside of the card. And it's just going to be like a normal. It's going to have, you know, this, the edges are not, it's not going to go right to the edges, just like a normal card. Okay. And we have that. And then for the inside, that's what we cut that second piece out for. And we're going to do some stamping on this piece. I am going to stamp a sentiment and a partial butterfly in here. So I'm going to do my sentiment in Pretty Peacock. So I'm just going to ink that up. And I probably need my foam mat back because this is photopolymer. And I'm just going to kind of stamp it right across the center of this piece. Hopefully it's straight. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in some petal pink. And I'm going to ink up this half butterfly. And I'm going to stamp that right up in that little wing section up there. All right. Close my inks. So now this is going to be our inside piece, so that when you open up the card, this is what you're going to see. But we want to make sure that it's lined up with this other butterfly. We don't want to glue it on and then have it be out of whack. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some glue to the back of it. I'm not going to go crazy, but I definitely want it to stick down. Then I am going to bring it underneath and I'm going to line it up by these bottom wings here. You can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of pressing it into place so that it's even and it's lined up. And then I am going to close my card on that piece. And then look at that. And this, the reason that we had to cut it below that little dotted line, that little mark, is so that it would not bump up to the top here. If you find that it is going to bump up to the top when you kind of do your dry fit, just chop a little bit more off and it'll be perfect. So that's what we have so far. Then we're going to bring in our little petal pink label and another sentiment that says hello. And I'm going to ink this up in some Pretty Peacock. And then I'm going to stamp it on this label. And you're looking at this label going, there's no way that's going to fit on there. And it barely fits. Just barely. So I'm going to put it off to the right edge. I'm just kind of looking through the stamp, trying to get as much of the hello onto my label as I can. See, look at that. It's like perfect. Just barely fits. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of tuck this underneath this wing, and then it's just going to kind of hang off the side. So we're just going to add a little bit of glue there, and then just raise that up just a skosh. Tuck that under, kind of line it up so it's, you know, straight, and then press it into place. And that's what we have so far. And then we're going to bring in our little gems, and these I am going to color with a Pretty Peacock marker. So let me bring my Pretty Peacock in here, and I'm just going to go over this one that I did earlier with the Fresh Freesia, and we can add a little bit of Pretty Peacock. Now it's not super dark, but it's dark enough. And if you want to go over it again after it kind of dries, then it will get slightly darker each time you go over it. Okay. So I'll bring that up a little closer so you can see that it definitely does color them. It's not perfect by any means, but it's definitely a new color. And so we can add these to our butterfly wherever we want. And I think I'm going to stick one right here on my little label. And then the other two, I think I might add, oh goodness, where do I want them? Do I want them here and here? Do I want them up here? I think I might cover up some of these dots with them so that there's a little bit of interest on the dot where it's not just a color, that it's also a little bit of shine and a little bit of it. It's raised a little bit so that it has some dimension to it as well. So how fun is that? Here's another one that I did using the same paper pack, but different papers. Oh, that's what I did. Look at that. Maybe I should move those. Do you think they'll stick on my, I kind of want to leave that there. Can I get them off? Well, I can't. So when you get your kit, if you want to put them on the body, then you should. But I did the exact same thing. I just used a different piece of paper. And in this case, I used Night of Navy cardstock for my label, and then Misty Moonlight for my embossed butterfly, some old olive for the body. And so there you go. There's 2 cards. And you could do that with anything. Now you can also take the card. Like here's like my sample that I'm not going to use. It's just so that I'm aware of what it is. So you can see the head there that we did cut off on this. You can also take, where did I put those? Here we go. I have a lot of extra pieces here that as I've been using this kit, I've ended up with a lot of extra pieces. You can take the detailed die cut butterfly and stick it on this as well. And then you don't need to chop off the head and the body. See, because this piece you don't need to do that with. So you can do that. You can put that on there if you want. I think this one, well, yeah, we have that on there, so that would fit. You could do that on that if that's what you wanted to do. So hopefully that's helpful. Hope that helped. That gave you a little bit of an idea of how to use those dies to make these fun cards. And then I also wanted to share with you another card that I made where I just used one of our note cards in envelopes, and I used the wings and I just stamped the wings, like stamped the bottom one, did the diagonal, stamped the bottom one, did the diagonal, and then I just added a black body and a sentiment, and it's done. Added a little interest. I screwed up and I have some ink over there, so I had to cover it up. And then I got the Time to Celebrate. I've got the butterflies, and then I did decorate the envelope as well. So that's another thing that you can do with those butterfly wing pieces. If you were kind of wondering, what do I do with those? That's what you do with them. They're not really designed to go underneath that detailed butterfly. They're mostly designed to go on the wing pieces of this piece here. Okay. So hopefully that is helpful to everyone. So let me put those aside and clean up a tiny bit here, and then we will get to our final card of the evening. Yep. While I'm doing that, I'll just throw out a little shameless plug again about my mystery boxes. They are on my blog at barbstamps.com/shop. They are a retired product. They are also, sometimes you'll get class kits from me, some older class kits if I have some extras. And you can get partial rolls of ribbon, embellishment. Sometimes they're brand new. There's embossing folders, designer series papers, just all kinds of things could be in these grab boxes. And again, I've got the $100 box, which gives you $250 worth of retail price merchandise, and then the $55 box, which gives you $100 worth of retail price merchandise. So check those out on my blog if you're interested. All right. Let me put some of these stamps away that we've already used, and let's bring in our next goodies. Okay, so we've got some Blackberry Bliss, some Fresh Freesia, and some Petal Pink. Now I'm going to get the Petal Pink. What size is that Petal Pink? Oh, I didn't even write that down. I don't even know. I didn't even make myself a note. So that was brilliant. This is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So let me cut one so that I can share with you how I lined it up in the folder and everything to get it to die cut the way I wanted it to die cut. Okay, so here we go. This is our 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 Petal Pink. We are going to end up putting it into the folder again. You're going to drop your die in there, click it into place. And then what you want to do is you want to get your designers or your cardstock as close to the inside as you can. So again, I like to flip it over. I'm holding the die in place with my hand, and I am getting this pretty close to this edge. And then I'm getting it as close to this edge as I can without having too much distance at the top and bottom. So there's like a maybe quarter inch here, and it is slightly angled. Okay, and then I would run that through, and then this is what I'm going to get. I'm going to get my embossed piece with my die cut and embossed butterfly coming out of it, and that's what we're going to do. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in a piece of white. This is just a scrap, and the scrap is going to you're going to stamp the super large butterfly. Here it is. with your memento. So I like to use it upside down. So my stamp is facing up and my pad is upside down. So I'm just going to tap, 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 get that all nice and inky, and then set it onto my piece of white. And now we're going to do some coloring. So I have got some blends. I've got Petal Pink, Fresh Freesia, and Blackberry Bliss. And I've got my cheater card right up here in front of me so that I can color this so I can remember what I did. So I'm going to pull out my dark Petal Pink and I'm going to mirror it. So whatever I do on this side of the wing, I'm going to do on this side of the wing. So I'm going to do this little guy here, this little kind of teardrop looking piece, this little triangle, this tiny little triangle, this kind of larger, I guess, triangle. And then this little section here. And again, this is my dark Petal Pink. And we'll do that. And then we're going to come over to this side and we're just going to mirror it. So everything we did on that side, we're now going to do on this side. So I can just sort of look and say, okay, what did I do? What did I do? I'm just going to copy. Since I believe butterflies' wings are the same on both sides, aren't they? Isn't that a thing? This little triangle here, this little triangle here, this little guy right here, and I think that is all the Petal Pink that we have. All right, then I'm going to pull in a light Fresh Freesia. Okay, so I've got the light Fresh Freesia, and I'm going to go ahead and do again. Everything I do on this side, I will then do on the opposite side. So I'm just kind of looking at my cheater piece so that I can remember what I did, because it turned out really good, if I do say so myself. That little thing right there, this. We've got the large kind of teardrop here at the base. What else? We've got this little thing on the end, this little thing on the end, and and then this little guy right here. And then we're just going to come over here again, and we're just going to mirror what we just did. And I'm not doing anything special. I'm not adding any shading. I'm not going crazy. Now, you can if you want. Obviously, you can do anything you want. I didn't, just because I felt like there was enough going on the card that I didn't feel like I really needed to. Okay, and then this, what else do we got? This little thing up here. And then if I did this right, everything else should be a light Blackberry Bliss. I'm just kind of double checking. Whoops, I missed this little guy right here. Oh, I missed something with the Petal Pink too. This tiny little spot right here is Petal Pink. Okay, I think that's it now. Then I'm going to bring in my light Blackberry Bliss. And if you're looking, this is maybe the first time you've watched me and you're wondering where did I get the labels on the end of my Stampin' Blends markers, I do have a free download for them on my blog. It's barbstamps.com/shop. You may need to scroll through maybe to the second page, I think, before you'll find it, because it's just hanging out with all the rest of the stuff that I put on my blog store. But it is a free download. You can print it off your computer. And then you just need a little 3/8 inch circle punch to punch out the circles. And if you don't have one, I do have a link for you to purchase that from Amazon. So that is also, I think it's also on the PDF and it's also in the store. So if you were wondering, then there you go. All right, so let me finish this up with the mirroring part here. Oh, I can hear my husband upstairs. He's a very heavy walker. If you didn't know him, you would think that he is stomping around up there, but he just is a very heavy, takes very heavy steps when he walks. And so I can always tell when he's up there. And he does work nights sometimes. So if I'm working down here, I can always tell when he gets out of bed and is ready for the day, because he'll be stomping around up there. Okay, so the butterfly is done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it to this piece here. So I'm going to bring my glue in and I'm going to add a little bit of glue to these little pieces here that are kind of small, maybe a little bit around the body. and just kind of go around the body. Now, if you think you might get too much glue, definitely bring your silicone mat in, which I probably will, just in case, because I don't want to get glue all over my desk. Where are you, silicone mat? Here you are, but there is a lot of glue on this, so I am going to bring in another one, because I have two. And then I'm going to lay this down, and then I'm just going to bring this over, and I'm going to cover it so that my colored image is showing through the opening. Okay. That's what we have. I'm going to let that set for just a second. And then while I do that, I am going to fold my card base. This is fresh freesia, if I didn't already say, 8.5 by 5.5. We'll burnish that. And then we also have a piece of white. This is going to go on the inside. And you can see I did the same thing with these smaller butterflies. Now I could have die cut them out and then I would have used another die, but I didn't. So I colored them the same. Added a strip of designer series paper. This is from the Bloom Impressions. You will get this in your kit. And then I stamped the little sentiment that says "for you." All right. So we are going to add this to the inside since we're waiting for the glue to dry, which I'm sure it already has. I didn't go too crazy on it or anything. And then I have to measure my piece of Blackberry Bliss here because I didn't. Usually I take a sticky note and I write down all the dimensions of everything so that I can remember and I can tell you, but I didn't this time. So I'm just going to trim off the excess white. Okay, not caring how crappy of a job I do to trim this off. I'm just trimming it off because I don't want it to show, obviously. And there we go. So then we're going to add that to a piece of Blackberry Bliss. I'm pretty sure this is 3 3/4 by 5. I'm lying. It's 4 by 5 1/4. And then that's going to go on that. So then we're going to add more glue to the back. And we definitely want to get where the embossing is and in the center. And then we're going to add this. And again, we're not going to have too much of a border, just enough to kind of make that petal pink layer pop. Okay. Press it down really nicely. Then we're going to bring in some fresh freesia ribbon, and you will get this in your kit. And I'm going to wrap it around here and tie it in a bow or tie it in a knot. Now I can do this. Normally I don't do this very well. Normally I tie it around something, but because I'm going to end up tying it to the back, I can do this because if it doesn't work out, I can cut it and tape it. I'll show you what I mean because it probably won't work out. So I'm just going to tie a knot kind of down here in the left-hand corner, the bottom left-hand corner. Although this, I don't know, the seam binding ties pretty nicely, so it's pretty easy to get a decent knot with this stuff. Okay, is it very tight? It is not, which is exactly what I thought would happen. So what I'm going to do, because I want it to be nice and tight, is I'm going to flip it over to the back. I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to pull it tight with my tape. So I'm going to pull it tight, add a piece of tape, and then I'm going to pull the other side. I'm going to kind of line it up so that I have equal distance. And I'm going to pull this, and I'm going to tape this down as well. And now it's just a slight overlap. Can you even tell how much that's overlapping? It's so slight, but it makes the biggest difference into how tight your ribbon is to the front. It's crazy. And then I'm just going to pull this nice, and then I'm just going to snip off the ends here like so. And then we're going to add this to the front of the card. And I think I'll do that with some dimensionals. Unless I can't find them. Nope, I found them. So we're going to use 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put one there, one there, one there, and one there. All right. Do that. Get the backings off. And then we're going to add this to the front. So this one, there should be probably 1/8 of an inch border, I think. Something like that. Okay. Then we're going to bring the gems in and a scrap of fresh freesia. So here's a tiny little scrap of fresh freesia. And I have the phrase that says, "So thankful." So I'm going to ink that up in my fancy memento pad, and I'm just going to stamp it. Hopefully it stamps nicely. It did. Yay. Then I'm going to bring in a pair of scissors, and I'm just going to snip straight across the top so we can just follow along with the words. So hopefully we can get that nice and straight. And we're going to follow along at the bottom also. And then I'm just going to snip this off on the diagonal on both ends. Whoops, that was crazy. That just flew clear across my desk. So that's what I have there. And so I'm going to add this. I wanted to use dimensionals, but it's pretty thin and dimensionals are too big, even the small ones. So what I ended up doing is I rolled up a couple of glue dots into like a little log. And then I'm going to use those at the ends of my piece. And they are going to add just enough dimension so that it's not completely flat with the card. Okay. So we're going to bring our card back. And then I'm just going to add this right down here. And it's crazy what a difference this little tiny piece makes on the whole card. Just adding that little tiny pop of color down there just really adds something. So there's the inside. So then on the outside, we're just going to add some gems. And I think I'm going to go one right here. And we'll just do the usual, what we normally do with gems. This time I'm going to put them at the top here, I think. And then I've got a few more samples to share with you of some different things to do. So now you're wondering, what am I going to do with this piece right here? Well, let me just share with you what I decided to do with it. I just quickly made the fastest card in the West. I glued it to the front of a Blackberry Bliss card base. I took a 1.5 inch circle punch. We don't sell those anymore, but I have a link to one in the description off Amazon. And I use the, what did I use? I used the Bright Border stamp set. So I stamped thank you right in the center, and then this little fun little border piece at the top and the bottom. And so that I was able to make two, really, this was super fast. This one wasn't as fast, but it's still pretty fast. Here's another one using the same layout, just wow, a way brighter, totally different looking card. Instead of having the ribbon on the side, I just added a little tiny bit of our new Daffodil Delight ribbon to the body. Didn't do anything special to it. Here's another card that you could make. This is just having an embossed layer, the embossed die cut butterfly, and then I just put it right on top of that. Again, super simple. And then what else do I have in here? Oh, I've got this one where it's basically the same as these, but I didn't do the stamped colored butterfly. I just put the detailed butterfly in the middle. So there's just, you can make so many different things with this bundle. It's crazy. Where's those other things that I had? Here's this one here. We had that. I think that was it. I'll bring the other ones back that I actually made that are actually in the class. So you will make this one here. If you want to do this with your extra piece, you can. I'm not going to include it in the class. So you're going to make that card, and that card will be the cards that are included in the class. If you do place a $50 order in my online store, while we're here, give me the thumbs up. That's really awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel right down here. There should be a little subscribe button that will help you subscribe. And then you can be notified when I upload videos or go live. So thanks you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all so, so much. I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. Wink of Stella on the wings. Oh, you know what? Now that you say that, I did get on something. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where's my card that I put Wink of Stella on? This one? No. This one. Yes. This one I made earlier today, and I did put Wink of Stella on all the Blackberry Bliss colored spots. I don't know how well that's picking that up. I hope it's picking it up a little bit. And then I also have some Wink of Stella on this butterfly here. I didn't do it on every single bit. I think I should have. I think it would look better, but you can definitely do that too. So great idea. All right, guys. That's it for me. I will see you here next week. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye, guys.